Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you, as always, for joining me. So, today's video, what are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about the huge problem that I have had getting the Audi R8 titled. I've never run into titling issues with vehicles. This is by far the first time I've run into an issue, and it's been a major headache. Now, I did buy it out of state, Wisconsin, as probably most of you guys know if you're new to the channel. I drove all the way up to Wisconsin to get the vehicle, and titling it has been out of this world difficult. So many different variables have come up and just made it so much harder. So again, it just has not been the easiest process. And I thought, you guys being my YouTube followers, I would share what has happened with you guys. It's been an interesting series of events. I've learned a lot with it, but we got to go get the Audi washed. I need a haircut badly, so we're going to do those two things, run to the bank, just run some errands in general. And I thought I would take you guys with me and share what has happened so far. Okay, so as most of you guys know, I obviously purchased the Audi in Wisconsin, and so I went through a whole buying, selling format that I had never done before. I had never bought a car out of state, let alone had to buy it there and bring it home all in the one setting. I mean, obviously if you're in the same set, you bring it home, but a lot of people, buying out of state, they might purchase it and then they'll actually trailer the car to you, especially exotics and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a different buying experience. For me, I had to go up there, make sure everything was situated, pay them, and then drive it home. As you guys saw in the video, I'll put a link in the description below if you're new to the channel and have not seen the whole purchase process that I went through for buying this vehicle. Now, the first thing I ran into when I got up there is I realized their finance manager was out of town. Now, I was wiring the full amount to them, so it was going to be paid in full to them for the vehicle. So I wasn't doing any financing through them, but the finance manager has to deal with the wire, has to make sure everything goes through, and they also deal with getting me all the correct paperwork. And it was very essential that I had all the paperwork because I was driving 10 hours home. And if I was pulled over and did not have the correct paperwork, technically a police officer may have the ability to hold the car. It would have just been a nightmare. So I had to make sure I had all the right information. Now, bless this guy's heart, he had never done anything with finance before. They threw him into this position because the finance manager was on vacation. Now, this guy had been doing it for a couple of days and he was learning what he was doing, but all of the buying and selling that he had dealt with was from Wisconsin, so it was all in state. He had never dealt with an out of state. So he was calling lots of people during the process. He wasn't really sure what paperwork was needed or what paperwork I was supposed to take with me. He didn't want to release some of the documents that I actually needed from the previous. It had some previous owner's information, but I needed a lot of that documentation to prove that I'd purchased the vehicle. And it was a new situation for me. It was a new experience that I wasn't 100% sure on what was right and what was wrong. So we kind of went back and forth for a while, and of course eventually everything seemed to have panned out. So I grabbed the vehicle, got the keys from the individual, and we headed home, and everything was great. The problem started when we got home and I started realizing I didn't have all the paperwork. I went through the process of getting it inspected. I did all the things that I needed to be done, which is great. So I got on all of that stuff. After I tried to go and get it titled at the DMV is when I first started running into issues. But first, before I go any further, I'm gonna go and get my haircut. Alrighty, so much better. I feel so much better. It was getting out of hand. I usually try to cut my hair like every 2 to 3 weeks, but I'd waited like a month and a half. It was just getting out of control. So especially with this summer heat, it is so nice to get my haircut done. But as I was saying, so I went and got my inspection as needed, did a few other small things, had everything with me, and then what I found out was, so I had the Corvette, obviously. Well, I sold it right around a year after I bought it. And so I never actually paid taxes. I paid the taxes that I owed on it from the sales tax, but I never paid personal property tax because you pay after the December you own it the following year, however that works out. So I hadn't received anything. So I had to go to the courthouse and get that taken care of so I could get this like paper that gives me an exemption, whatnot. So then I got all that taken care of. I went to the DMV. Now the first time I went to the DMV, I took what I thought I needed with me. And this wasn't 100% on them. It was a little bit on, I guess, me not knowing and my banker not understanding. But they had given me all the paperwork and what I thought was the transfer of ownership paperwork and some of that. And again, I'm being very generic here. I don't know all of the different paperwork that is there, but I took it in, and essentially they told me, no, we need a title, a true title. And so I thought, great. You know, of course I waited like 2 hours, and I tried to be calm about it. I was like, okay, I understand. What exactly do I need? And they told me you need the title. So I called my banking person, and I also called Audi, and they said, yes, we need to go ahead and get that title sent over. I think they were processing it, but they didn't tell me that's what I needed to take with me. Here in Missouri, you know, each state is a little bit different, but that was the first problem I had. So I decided I was going to wait for that electronic copy to come over. That's what the Wisconsin does. They send an electronic copy, they reinstate it into the title of my name, send it to my bank, and then I get it. Now, before I get any further, let's go ahead and head up and wash the car. I need to wash the car very badly. This past weekend was a blast. It's when I went on all these different car rally slash convoy, and then I went to another car show. But driving it, I don't know, 500 miles this past weekend, we definitely need to wash the car. So we're gonna head up to our car wash. Alright, so the car is all clean and it looks so much better. I'm gonna have to see once it dries off. We're gonna actually go and air dry it on the highway, and hopefully that will take care of anything that is left on it as far as water. We always use the spot-free rinse. But back to the story. So essentially, we've already failed once going up to the DMV. So I wait the 4-ish weeks it takes to get the electronic copy through the mail, or actually technically it's electronic, but they still send a copied or printed off version to the bank, and then they let me have it after that. So I get that, I get my copy, so I go up again to get my my licensing, my titling, and my plates, because that's everything that I need. So at this point, this is the second time I've been in there, and I'm up there, and they tell me in Missouri, and here's where the major issue comes. In Missouri, they do not accept an electronic title. Lots of states do. Missouri is one of the few that does not. So now I have an electronic copy that does not work. Even though it says I have all the paperwork saying that I own the vehicle, Missouri, thank you Missouri, will not allow me to title the car here. So here I'm still on temporary tags that are about to expire. They're telling me it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks before. What I can do, I guess I should back up a little bit, is I had to have the bank and Audi of North Shore call and reset the title. So in special provisions like this, they can actually issue a true physical title, but it has to be completely redone and made a physical copy, because again, before it was a digital version. So that takes like 4 to 6 weeks. Well, here's where the problem started. Inspection, you have 60 days. I already waited over like 4 to 5 weeks, pretty much 5 weeks out of those 60 days. So, you know, I'm pushing up on like a week left of my inspection. In 60 days, you have to get your inspection. So I'm running out of time. I have just a little bit of, like, another week of inspection time, and I'm probably not going to get this physical title. So I'm going to have to go get it re-inspected. So the next issue I had was the temporary plate was actually just about to expire. And this was all happening the day before I was about to go on this huge road trip to St. Louis and be gone all weekend, probably driving, and I knew it, at high speed. And here I'm going to have an expired temp plate in a city that's, you know, not where I'm from. I know it's only about 4 hours from Kansas City, but at the same time, it's not where you're from. You don't know the area that well. We went all the way to end up going to Illinois. But again, all this taking place, and here I am on expired temp, and I'm just at this point really exhausted. I can't believe this happened. I think, and of course everybody's pointing fingers at each other, and you know how that goes. Anybody that could have made the mistake didn't make the mistake. Of course, my bank says it was titling says it was my bank. Essentially, what happened was there was a mismatch. Probably it actually was the titling individual that set up the titling through Audi North Shore for me. Should have realized Missouri needed a physical copy. When they set all that up, they created a digital. They're saying that the bank should have asked for a physical copy at the time so that it could be done at the same time. I don't know. But all I know is now I'm waiting on the physical copy of a title for this car, and it's been almost 2 months. And it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks. So I got to go get another inspection. And they finally mailed me new temp tags. They actually overnighted me them because I was so annoyed with them. And they knew that, you know, someone messed up. Again, they didn't want to say it was them, but they knew there was a mess up, and I was the one taking all of the brunt of it. So luckily, they were able to get me the temp tags overnight, so I was able to take them on the trip, and that helped a lot. That helped a lot. But again, still not done. So I tell you all of this headache going, and it could continue from here. But I thought I would share that with you guys. I know it's just kind of some rambling, ranting, but one of those things that on the car side, that I love cars so much, this annoys me. This annoys me that I own the car. It is my car. I have 5-6 different documents saying that I own the car, yet at the same time, Missouri won't title it because of a physical copy. I had to print it off physical copy, but it was a digital copy. They wanted the true old school titling. So that's what I'm waiting on for Wisconsin Department of Motor Vehicle. We will see how long that takes. I'm guessing it's going to take a while. So now I get to go get an inspection again and jump through a bunch of different hoops and go sit in DMV for a third time. So I'm hoping this will do it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me on today's video. I know it was just like I said, a ranting, but as always, I appreciate the support. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, even though it was crazy bantering and ranting, I appreciate it. You know, hit that subscribe button. We have lots of fun content. Cannot wait what we get to do with this Audi. These car shows that we're going to get to go to and be a part of for these car events are going to be amazing. If you're already a subscriber, thank you as always for your support. You guys are the best. You all take care, and as always, I'll see you next video.